Iron Fist. Kung Fu master with fist of, well, iron.
Hey everyone, Richard here, and we got another episode of Unlocking Key Issues. Today we're going to be looking at this right here, Marvel Premiere number 15 from May of 1974. First appearance of Danny Rand, Iron Fist, Kunlun, and tons of stuff. So yeah, let's get into it. This is my beater copy, my reader. So it starts out, Danny is fighting basically to prove himself. It's kind of interesting, the first several panels and what have you, there's actually no dialogue. It's just describing the fight in sort of his pseudo martial arts style, and he's being very successful throughout it. Some nice ads. Never finished high school. And after he finishes beating up the many people, he sort of has a flashback about sort of his origin of how he lost his parents and what have you. Apparently he was going on some hike looking for an ancient city, later found out to be Kunlun. And yeah, got his family, his mother, his father, and his dad's business partner. And yeah, they're just sort of doing their hike and he's recounting it. Some more ads. I've actually never seen these before. I wonder if they're hard to find nowadays. But it sort of turns for the worse. Danny's family ends up falling off the side of a cliff face, and his dad gets sort of betrayed by his business partner and brutally killed. Yeah. I find it interesting that they show blood here. Some more ads. Sort of appropriate to have some karate lesson stuff in this book. Here we have sort of an eccentric scene where Danny's mother is throwing rocks at him, and he actually offers to help them get back to the top because he loves Danny's mother. And she refuses, says she'd rather have both of them die down there out in the cold than have his help, which is kind of crazy considering her son's down there with her and he's like 9 at the time. But yeah, who am I to judge? Anyway, it flashes back to Danny in the present. He's going for his sort of final test where he has to fight the one giant person after he fought several little ones, and he's struggling. He's landing all his strikes and everything, but doesn't seem to having any effect. Again, very little dialogue, lots of bubbles describing things. There's a little bit of dialogue here with those sort of offering him time before he does this, but he wants to do it right then and there. So there he is, still fighting and losing pretty soundly, actually. Some nice ads. And then, after getting whopped in the head pretty hard, he has another flashback of him and his mother trying to escape the snowy tundra, what have you. And there's mention that there are wolves following them. They eventually realize this, and they find a bridge. They also mention this place that they were looking for with their dad. She doesn't actually believe it exists. And then they see the bridge, and she's like, well, maybe it does. No, it can't exist. You know, stuff like that. But the wolves start chasing them, and they run towards the bridge. Oh, a bunch of ads. And about halfway through the bridge, she makes the choice to turn around and throw herself to the wolves so that Danny can get out of there. This is when Danny gets rescued by the people of Kunlun. But unfortunately, it's too late for his mother, and she is real dead. Real dead. Sort of makes you wonder why they didn't help him sooner. But yeah, flashback to this. So this is around the point where he realizes that, I don't know how he realized this, that the person he's fighting isn't actually human, and that he needs to be a lot more fierce and deadly with his strikes. He sort of realizes that he's fighting a robot, and he decides that he's going to call on the power of the Iron Fist. This is the first time you see him do as such. The glowing effect is really nice. But as you can see, he uses his Iron Fist, punches the robot in the head, and the head goes clean off. He passes his trial, bloodied and what have you, and they sort of say he needs to now make his choice if he wants immortality and eternal life or death, and the story ends there, to be continued in future issues. So, not a terrible first appearance. Surprisingly, not a lot of dialogue. It's a lot of describing fight scenes and the brutal murder of his parents. So yeah, that's really all there is to it. I hope you all enjoyed. This book actually has a Marvel date stamp in it. I forgot to point out. Might as well go back and show you guys that if I can find it. There it is right there. Nice Electro Marvel date stamp. Those are often removed, so nice to see it there. But anyway, there's Marvel Premiere 15, first appearance of Tiny Rand Iron Fist. Hope you all enjoyed. Take care.